And I'm screen sharing and recording at the same time. Very good.
Yeah, nice, beautiful. Yeah, it will automatically save it once you finish the meeting, and it will automatically save it to
Okay.
the drive or whatever. Go
So
ahead.
you can see all of the tools that I'm working with here as far as the charts go. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different tools in front of me, correct?
Yeah. I see it.
Okay, very good. And let's just see what else I have to share. Okay. Well, I'm good to start with the very basics here. This is, I'm assuming everyone's using the TOS platform to do charting. For
Yeah.
me, example, I'm using TOS for charting, but I trade on my phone with Webull. I found that to be the most easiest. I'm going to change that up sooner or later, but that is what I do right now. So everything we're looking at today is on Thinkorswim, free mobile or a free download from Thinkorswim, and most of the tools have been gathered from the ILM resource pages from Professor. So I've been able to put this together. But this is my TOS dashboard here with the watch list. These are just the option chains as they come up and down. So we can see these are all, if I'm not mistaken, Professor, this is every option that has 5,000 or more spent on it, correct, throughout the day?
Yeah. It's with, I think, between 5 and 10 over. So start with 5 lowest, and then you will see obviously anything over 10 up to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 too. So yeah, that's a pretty cool tool if you could capture the bottom of it and then write it up. I keep it. I came across this a while ago. So yeah, this is a pretty cool one. Go for it.
So this whole setup here I can share with everyone. There'll be different charts that have already been set up, and I'll go over them. But let me just expand this screen so we can take a look at, I guess,
Yeah. Do you want to back to your screen? Just take the arrow to the left, right there, right there.
this one here. All right, so let me open up these all individually here. I'll maximize this one. So this is with a volume overlay. And what you're seeing here is these yellow bars. They change throughout the day, but these are what we call value high and value low throughout the day. So typically when a stock reaches value low, you're likely to see a bounce in the upwards direction. And then again, once it reaches closer to value high and you see the volume starts to fade out again, you can see the downward trend continue. So the three basic tools on this chart right here are the value high, the value low, and you can see where the majority of volume is being done. This is what we call our POC, POC. This is the point of control. So as a stock price moves up and it moves back down, you can see it tags this zone through the majority of the day. So this is the point of control. Um, this is just I guess a gauge of where most of the volume and most of the price is being done. So this is just one very small tool to use throughout the day. I just kind of glance at this because as you can see, it can break through value low very easily. But you can also see that once it breaks value low, the chances are that it's going to go back up are increasing. So I use,
Now, are
what
these automated or are you manually doing these?
did you say?
The volume profile and the lines, are those automated or is that something you're
These
manually
are
doing?
automate already included into this chart.
So you have a script for that, I guess, right?
Correct. So then I
Okay.
would share it with everyone here. I'll be able to share
Okay.
it with everyone.
Okay. Yeah, you can share it later.
Okay.
Let's see what else you got going. This looks pretty cool though. Interesting.
Okay, I'm going to restore the cells here. Now this is going to look a bit busy. I might switch it off over to ES just so you can see it better. Let me get here. And this one is not, there we go. This one looks very busy because I have all of my lines on it.
Right.
But you can see that it has a wider overview of the entire complete profile. Right now I'm in a 30-minute time frame. what I'm using to trade is what we call market profile. Every 30-minute increment in the market creates it's a new bar. So we've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, and M are the two final periods of the day. You can see that this chart right here shows the overview of the entire SPY over a 30-minute time frame. If I scroll to the right, you can begin to see where all of these volumes are being done. Again, this is value high at 333. So if we were to see a drop, we would expect a bounce of 333. You can see yesterday it cruised right through value high. It didn't get quite to our volume POC. This yellow line is where all of the volume in the entire market is being done. And this here is our value low. So it's the same concept on a smaller time frame as we zoom in. This is our POC here. This is the area that was tagged most throughout the day. So you can see as we get farther away from POC, it's going to always gravitate towards it again. This is where people are happy doing business, is what we like to say, is this POC line here. So it always wants to gravitate towards this middle line. Let me switch over to a different chart here. This here is that new IPO RKT, which really ran up and dove off. This didn't abide by any of these are what they call dog fibos. These are the Fibonacci levels. I don't quite know them. They're just built into the chart, but I do those custom. But you can see again, the first day of trading, here was the POC. Although all of the FOMO ran this up to value high was too much for it to sustain, and the stock gradually gravitated back towards the POC, the point of control. So we could have seen this coming. That's why all of these levels up here, I have pullback FOMO, FOMO top, FOMO support. Everything's labeled FOMO because I knew that after the run-up was done, these are the levels that it's going to come back down to. So let me actually pull this up a little bit bigger for everyone to see. Oh, let me gauge out again. What happened here? Down to a 15-minute.
There you go.
Okay. I know it's a little bit difficult to see, but I will.
No, that's fine. I think it looks decent on that. No, what's interesting is that the high and the lows you have with the POC, it's kind of interesting to see how it's pulling back to that point. Now, is it by volume or is it by buy and sell interest?
So there's two different POCs. One is the volume POC and one is the point of control where people are happy doing business at a price. So there's two different POCs. One is for volume and one is for price.
Yeah, that's what I see. You have two there.
Correct. The ones on I would say the ones on the outside over here when we were looking at the other chart, that was the volume POC. This one just has a volume overlay in the back side. So you can see that the volume up here nearly was able to sustain the move upwards, but it didn't quite get to these levels of volume. So when I zoom in here, I'm going to show you how I charted it up using this. When this, maybe we should go to a 1 minute just because I charted it on a 1 minute. And I'll have to go back a few days. So we'll have to go 1 minute. We get 1 minute here. And I'll just go to a 5 minute, that'll be sufficient. I need more than 1 day. Yeah, 180 days. Okay. Now you're going to see that as this, because I started charting this stock from the very first day it IPO'd, from the very first 15 minutes it IPO'd. And I wish I could switch this off to a 1 minute chart so you can see. In fact, I should probably take the time to do so. But you're going to see, yeah, I'm going to have to switch this off to a 1 minute chart so you can see how it reacts to it. Just give me a moment here. Time frame.
Yeah, go for it.
Where is,
I think you have to change it to day and do that. On the time interval, you have 180 days. So I think you have to 1 day, 1 minute. There
right,
you go.
we want to go further back than 1 day.
How far to, oh, you have to go back to the beginning, right? So I think it was, so let's do daily and change that time interval to like 10 days or whatever. Customize it. If you go back to 10 days, yeah, daily customize. Yeah, there you go. From the, if you know.
From the custom or intraday.
Intraday, yeah, intraday you could go, I think 10 days. Yeah, 20 days. Let's go 20 days or whatever time. There you go. That will give you.
Then go 20 days. Okay, let's add the time frame.
Yeah. No, you went to 1 day, 1 minute.
That's the deal. 20
There you
days,
go.
1 minute.
There you go.
Okay.
You go back. There you go at the bottom. So that looks like about 10 days bottom.
I'll be able to see.
So I think it started IPO at 18.
Correct.
Right.
The stock IPO'd at 18, and this was the first
Lowest.
low here.
Yep.
And this is where value low started at that stock. So we can see the stock went all the way up to this point. This was value high at the time, or what I labeled as initial bar high, as you can see here.
Right.
As the stock creeped back down, all the way down to what was value low, I began buying up the stock. So once it hit this value low bar at the time,
Right.
value low was raised. But I started eyeing up the stock below value low. So I got in at about 1780, I think my average cost was.
Okay.
Then we can start to see the stock go about its path here, and value low begins to raise. So as you're watching this chart in real time, you're going to see this yellow bar begins to get raised, and then value high will also get raised, and the POC will also get raised. So
does that happen automatically as the price is?
this will happen automatically. This is
Okay.
this is when you know a stock is I guess it's, I mean, it's you know that the pullback is likely going to be higher than your initial purpose or your initial purchase, because value low is being raised at the same time. So
Gotcha.
it was about at this point on value high number 3, because I labeled value highs from value high number 1,
1, 2,
3.
2. Okay.
Once we reached this breakout point and we started having these pullbacks, value high stayed the same. So this is where I gave notification to the group to say, hey, if you're still in this stock, you know, begin to take half off.
Yeah, I did that. Exactly. I remembered. I got in at 20, I think, 40, and then I got out at, I think, 22 or 20.
Yeah, you were all the way up here, I think. I think we gave it one pullback up here. It had another ring, and then I think you were out somewhere over here.
Yeah, in that range. So nice.
But yeah, value high was never raised. And these are nuances that you look for in the marketplace is using these charts, because you can see that this might have been, it might look like it's healthy, but the internals of the stock were never actually increasing. This is
Right.
all FOMO. That's why I labeled it FOMO. So the tools that I'm using are let me go back here. And I wish we could go, I wonder if ES is still actually working right now so we could see this in real time.
I think 6 o'clock.
Until 6 o'clock, or it opens at 6.
So.
All right, so we saw the run up. And now this is a pre-market.
Right.
Okay, so we reached all the way to the FOMO top number 4. You can see that the value high was raised over the whole stock. And you can see that, again, value high was here. Once, if you're new to supports and resistances, once you see a resistance and you get through a resistance, then it becomes a support. So once we're pushed through value high, that value high then tried to become a support. We're bouncing off value high, bouncing off value high again, but you can see it's continually making a downtrend. So the strength of the stock is getting weaker. So all of these people are trying to hold on to something, they're grasping at straws to keep the stock up, but its destination is ultimately this POC. This is where it wants to gravitate to. This is where all the work is being done, and this is where people are most happy is doing business at that volume POC.
Volume makes sense.
So over the course
yeah,
of
that's what I was saying. It kind of acts like support and resistance if you see it, right? Old support becomes resistance, and old resistance becomes support if it moves over.
POC
But it changes.
Resistance as well, but it's kind of like the middle ground. When you want to buy extremes, you want to buy, at value low, and then you might sell at POC because POC can act as resistance, or when you're at POC, you want to see it go to value high and then think about selling off at value high. Not to say that they can't break through, act as resistance, and continue the uptrend, but if that is the case, then you'll see POC being raised, value low being raised, as well as value high being raised along with it. If you see the stock starting to go up, and these things are not happening, then you know that stock is likely to have a pullback such as this did. So we can see that all of these different FOMO tops were acting as support, FOMO support, support, support. But now you can see that they began to act as resistance. So what was acting as support is now acting as resistance. In this particular stock, we're getting back into the trading zones. So we're still at the initial high. This was the high of the very first 30-minute time frame of this stock, and that is what's holding this stock up currently. So I would expect this stock to want to pull back to a value low at some point. Probably to the afternoon value low at noon when it started IPOing. This was the noon value low, and this was.
Do you guys carry these kind of holes? Oh, you out of them? Okay.
So I'll switch over to a different chart so we can get a different idea and restore these cells here. This one is on a 4-hour time frame. Switch over to the 30-minute.
Okay. Now, do you guys say any kind of adapter to these? Like, to see, like this won't fit the piece, but this put in well.
So they each have slips. So it's a big roll, and every 3 feet has a slip, so we can sell it to you in 3-foot increments. Like
oh, okay,
3,
okay.
6,
Okay.
9.
Okay, now it says Shaw and where?
Holden
Shaw. Thank you.
All right, if you're not speaking or asking questions, please mute. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, I'm still here.
Okay, go ahead.
This chart, and I don't use this chart quite often. This is just a volume overlay with value high. This is the volume POC. This is where most of the volume in SPY is actually being done at this consolidation zone at the 328 level, 329 level. So if this thing were to ever crash, I would be looking to get back into the stock potentially for a bounce here at value or the volume POC for a bounce. Ultimately, this would have been a great place to buy back in yesterday because this was value high. So this was acting as resistance yesterday. But we could go all the way to value low at some point, which is very possible, but it's just not in the cards. It looks like it wasn't in the cards yesterday.
Yeah.
So let me get back and go to this over here. Where is it at? This here. This is what I use for, this is the closest you can get to a market profile. So market profile trading is done on Trade-Evate, Window Trader, and also the Sierra charts. You can't get a true market profile on Thinkorswim. It's just not possible. The closest we have to market profile on Thinkorswim is this particular setup right here. I'll go to Tesla, or I suppose I can go to Tesla. It's not as busy as, I'm sorry, it's not as busy as my SPY chart. Okay, so this is Tesla here. Now, this particular chart is a little difficult to see as far as is on my screen, but you're going to see that we have an initial balance. When this stock opens, this is a line of prints here. So when we open in the first 2 time frames of the day, every time frame is of 30 minutes. Let's see if I can switch it to a 30-minute chart. And there we go. There's a slight blue line right here. Now, Tesla is such a beast, it just decided to spring out of the initial balance today, and it actually raised value low. It raised its monkey bar, which is kind of like the POC. This is where people are happy doing business up here. And it also raised value high again up here. So at some point throughout the day, this entire gray box was down here. And you can see that as Tesla moved up, this box and these value points also moved up along with it. Whereas in the case of the other, say RKT, on that day, that would not have been happening at all. You would have known that it was going to come back down. You would have seen this green line all the way up here where the gray box was still down here. So this was our initial balance this morning. The first 2 time frames of the day stayed within this range. And then once it reached at some point value high, it decided to break out, find resistance, and break out again. So this is a great chart to use because again, it has the volume profile laid in on the back. So you can see that this is all the volume being done in Tesla in the back.
Now, can you change the volume to either buy or sell? Because I think I remember, or I can just change the color to different settings.
That would be great to have a buy or sell volume on this volume profile here. At this point, I don't have that written in the script. I'm sure that's you might be able to.
I don't think anyone has it. I looked for it. I couldn't find it. It's just on the bottom. See on your lower studies, the buy and the sell pressure, we would say.
And that's all. I guess I use those in the other chart, but this one in particular shows the place where people are happiest doing business. This yellow bar is what they call the playground. So people are happiest doing business throughout the day there because it touches that point the most throughout the day. So that changes, as you can see, daily.
Yeah, that's happening on a 30 minutes in the daily chart. Okay.
Right. But you can also see that we're above value high on Tesla. So you would expect it to tag down perhaps here and then continue on if it were to find some support. So
27.
Nuances. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was saying that looks like you might pull back to 1526 range highs and then run up again like it.
Correct. But now these are the auto trends, and you can still see that Tesla, at least auto trend from TOS on these channels, it's still channeling downwards, but it's broken out of the channel as well. So this chart includes a channel where now as it broke channel resistance, you would also want it to see it hold channel resistance, which happens to be right at value high, which also happens to be right at what I labeled Y stop. At the end of the day today, right when Tesla was tanking at the end of the day, it had a reversal signal. And I put a line here, and I always ask myself, why top, why stop? So when I want to buy into a stock, I ask myself, why did this stock stop here? So I would scroll to the left, and I don't have that capability because we aren't on I don't have any more days left here, but you'll see on a 30-minute or even a 90-day 10-minute, why did the stock top out over here? And why did the stock stop right here? So this was where we found support. And we found support again at this value high. Some people were probably looking for it up here or so, but we were finding that this value high, and we're also finding that this initial balance high on Tesla. So as you scroll back in time, you can see that, you know, these levels mean something to longer term traders as
Right, right.
they begin making their purchases. So why top, why stop? Always ask myself those questions. But is there anything that's unclear about, I mean, I know this probably looks a little bit foreign because we've got all of these different letters back here and whatnot, but
Now, what does each of these letter means? I see some green, some pink ones, some red ones. Does it mean?
now this is where most of the pink is where most of the shares are trading. The green is where it starts to have single prints. This is when it breaks out of range. So
Okay, okay.
when something breaks out above the value high, or it had gone down previously and gone back up to outside of that range, then it creates a new color. This isn't by far the best market profile you can get. I would suggest the window trader or Sierra charts, but you can get the general gist of what's happening as you have.
What's happening? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So again, this chart has been great, especially coupled with the Fibonacci trading as well. We can see that Tesla went here. I labeled this on this day here after that huge drop from 100% all the way down. We had a single print all the way down here. If you scroll in,
Yeah.
you can see that it just had, we had an initial balance down here all the way on that day. As we scroll right, again, Tesla tagged that zone and just took off.
Yeah, yeah. I see with the new pushed up.
From zero here on the Fibonacci all the way tagged it again, and boom, off to the races after all of this mess that we are in.
Yeah, it broke through all the strong levels of Fibonacci's.
It did. It broke all, not all of them, but it's headed.
Oh, almost there, almost there. So
Um,
you have a couple of Fibonacci on different time frames. Is that accurate to say? Because I see you have different lines and different time frames.
correct, different time frames and different drops as well. Just because some traders are still operating on, some are operating on a 4-hour time chart, some are on a weekly time chart, some are operating on a 15-minute time chart. So
Right.
as we progress throughout the day, I see, well, what is it reacting to today? Where is the strength? Is this a weekly time frame day? Is this a 15-minute time frame day? And likely, they all come into play at some point or another. So you're looking for those bounces. But I'll go back to here on my SPY chart. If I can probably close this so we can get a better.
I see you still have the one with the wording. I'll send you the one with just with the error, so you could use the reversals.
Yeah, because it gets in the way.
Yeah, it blocks up a lot of it. I'll share the one right after you move that.
I took those off at least for this study here. But let me try to move this. If I can get it, it won't go.
Hit the left arrow button, right, and scroll down a bit. Just click that. Boom.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, this bicep volume.
All right, something to note about the 30-minute time frames as far as the market profiles go, and I should probably just get rid of this for right now, just because I can always put it back later. I'm using 144 moving average because that seems to be the most common and accepted moving average. So I know that there's multiple time frames moving averages, but this is the 144. This is a 30-minute time.
144 or 44?
144, 144.
So that's 144 days. So almost like more closer to half the year.
Correct. And
Gotcha.
the traded style that people use in market profile is the 30-minute time frame bars. So when you look at something being bullish or not bullish, or one time framing up is a phrase that they use, is the first bar of the day, the 30-minute bar of the day is an upward direction. You come back, you don't take out nearly half of it, and you continue up higher. Again, higher. Again, you can see that it gets higher. This one did not quite take out the 30-minute bar, but it also didn't take out the previous time frame's low. So we were one time framing up almost the entire day. This is almost still a trend day intact. So you can see that these different time frames here, when we had these three 30-minute bars, I posted a notification in the group and I say to you guys, if this level 336.85 breaks down, we're going to see a flush. But instead, what it did is it got close to the breakout levels. This happened to be our pre-market high. So as we're charting the SPY, we're looking for a few things. We're looking at previous days lows. We're looking at previous days highs. We're looking at overnight lows, and we're looking at overnight highs. All of those things, when I wake up in the morning, I'm charting out and putting as price levels on the side. And then you can see as the day progresses, these points act as resistance or support levels throughout the day. So this happened to be our overnight high. As we got over it, it started wanting to come back down to test it. We wanted to test it again. It wanted to test it again. And I thought we were going to break down below this 336 mark. Instead, we broke out to the upside. So we took out these three previous time frames highs. And then again, we went down to go test it. Once we broke it, sorry, let me zoom out a little bit. Once we were able to break through those, we had a small flush, but it was met again by a tremendous amount of buying. You can see at the end of the day, we still were not able to break our overnight high. Even though, the end of the day sell-off came, we still were not able to get under our overnight highs, which is extremely bullish from this standpoint. So,
what you're looking at right now is today after hour, looks like it, right?
correct.
Okay, cool.
This is after hours. This is regular trading hours. So this is the buy and sell volume that's in the educational channel. So you can see in the morning, strong buy, stronger buy. This is where we had a little distance. So this all makes sense. This is pretty, I guess, easy to understand on the 30-minute time frame.
Yeah. That's pretty fair.
But I'm not sure what else I can show you here as far as this. As far as this goes, this is what I call a killer chart. So I'm using all of these different setups to make sure I can make educated decisions on support and resistance levels.
This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. I see a lot of people uses it. Sometimes it becomes challenging for a lot of the new people to understand what it means, only because they're used to seeing plain support and resistance and not all this, POC high lows and the drawing itself too, right? So what you are doing, you're actually doing the homework. That's what I keep telling, everybody or whoever is new. I said, if you just wait for alerts, it just doesn't make sense because you have to really do your homework as well.
Yeah, and understand why something is stopping where it is and why something is breaking out higher when it does break out higher. So all these questions. So the easiest thing to do for me has been to go up to my drawing set and I just create a price level bar. And when something creates a strong resistance, for instance here, I double click and I'll say, why stop? And then later through the day or something in my downtime, I'll scroll over to the left and I'll say to
where was the point of
correct. So why did that stop at some point? So
absolutely, this is really good stuff. I think the rest of the guys, please do share your feedback with Michael. So I'm sure he would love to make it even better and share this with us at some point. I think the high and the lows, if you share that with the volume and the point of
Correct. That's what the takeaway from this video is value high, value low, and POC.
Value low.
Those are
Yeah, and the pod, that would be super awesome if you could see
pretty
it.
basic concepts. It gets a little complex when you start charting everything out, but that's where I'm still reliant on call outs as well. Not only am I part of ILM, but I also have a Discord with a trader from New York. So he's helping me through learning about these single prints. I'll be attending a webinar on Saturday and then coming back to the group to share what I've learned from that webinar. So hopefully I can go
Gives you
ahead
more. Yeah.
put some money into a Tradeovate account and get an actual market profile set up. But these are all really short that I'm doing throughout the day. Just 30-minute time frame swings from highs to low.
Yeah, I think if you're a day trader, I mean, this, the 30 minutes hourly, and I think really the 4-hour chart makes a lot difference. If you start doing day trading for swing, then obviously we have our weekly dailies and look at other. But this is very interesting. I've been looking into this, but I was trying to see what your experience is in terms of using it. I like my chart clean. For many parts, but the volume and this stuff, it makes really good sense if you know how to use it in a longer term, if you are kind of trading on an advanced level. But
and some of the levels, like I cheat sometimes. I do my homework, but at the same time, these 2 levels right here were gotten from another trader on YouTube. So they do weekly breakdowns. There's a few guys on YouTube that they do ticker call outs. So I'll hop on the YouTube channel live. People will be typing in tickers, and then the trader will then go through and break out the tickers, and he'll say, this is where I see the buy zones. These are where I see the sell zones. And I was able to utilize that strategy, for instance, on Baba. So I said today, if we fail above this 255.82, if we look above and fail, I'd be looking to fade it. Well, that's exactly what we did midday. We looked above this 255.82 and faded it. Again, when we reached this touch and go green, I happen to be a buyer over here. So I was buyer at this touch and go green line. These 2 green lines are the resistances, the buy zones that I got from that video. I was able to chart them out myself, make the call out to the room saying I'm bullish on Baba if it breaks out over these levels. It gapped up.
Yeah.
We had this sell up again, trying
and then
to.
it gapped up again. Looks like it partially after hour.
Correct, but it never tagged that touch and go zone again. So
yeah, never done that.
And then again, DT confirmed it with the call out today. But again, we're bullish above this 257.7, which would be another breakout zone. So, I mean, yeah, this is pretty much my setup, all gained from the ILM charting. Without me joining this Discord here, Professor, I wouldn't have these tools at my disposal. So,
no, I'm glad. I have like at 5,000.
What's that?
Really makes it. I said I have access to like 5,000 different scripts, but I went through picking what really makes sense for us or anybody. Even if you're a trader, doesn't matter. Anybody, if you wanted to learn what really makes sense, a simple manner. If you keep it simple and stupid, right, where people could understand what things are, I think you could teach them faster, and they could kind of work on it, like how you took some of it and then start.
And Baba was a prime example. I'm saying if we were stockholders, you can see how this stock sold off all the way till value low.
Yeah.
Starting to make its way back up. For options, this wasn't, it wasn't very good. You can see that we were well above value high here. When it's breaking out. And as this chart, as value high wasn't getting raised along with it, it would have been nice to say, well, this is not sustainable. And you can see it just completely gapped down all the way to value low.
I think they have that news. Yeah, I think the first news they had when Trump said he's going to ban all the China stuff, I think that's when it started tanking.
Well, this was actually quite recently on 8/7.
Yeah. I think it was recently too. And they also had some kind of other news as well. I think someone in the room mentioned it. start tanking, and we were like, okay, look at Baba.
Yeah, so we would like to have seen a stop at value high and continue more. We would want to have seen resistance at, one of the value POCs. So we would want to see resistance here at a POC, because this was a point of control at one point. So they were happy doing business there. But we didn't see.
That's what we needed to see, right? Where the main supply and demand is. That's, I think, what you're saying for trader versus our trader. That's what differentiates us, because they want to see where can, I buy 10 shares and where I could sell 10 million. So that makes sense to see how these reacts. I mean, what you created here, it looks pretty neat. That's a lot of credit and a lot of work goes behind setting these up. One thing I would say, if you want to take a stab when Airbnb goes, do let us know. I think this Airbnb will pop, I think, from the start to IPO. I think it will go up pretty high. I'm going to start looking into those, what the new IPOs, what their pricing are coming up to be. I don't think it's listed yet.
Not yet.
But I think this month, they were confidentially kind of did their report. I shared the link a few days ago where you have IPO Center or wherever you could find information, the upcoming IPOs.
Because the group's only going to get better the more people have access to the information and the more that are using it. So although we have call outs from you professional, AJ and DT, me able to make these observations and just say to the group, hey, this stock is at value low, and here's maybe a news catalyst, or even not even a news catalyst, because sometimes news has no bearing on a stock. You can see that this obviously sold off, but there will still
yeah, it's true.
buy at value low.
Yeah, end of the day, right? It's news. It's just one-off catalyst, but end of the day, where do you see value at the bottom and the top, right? News comes, shoot things up, and it always comes down. I mean, even with earnings, right? They do so good, some of the stocks, and they just still crashes. So it's kind of hard to stick around with those if you're an option trader, or unless you have huge portfolio where you are kind of balancing off your.
So
Want to see more directional, right? If it's down, up or down, that's it. That's what we need to do. Either buy with put or call.
And even though this hit value low and I had my green buy zone here, I had a call. I would have taken a call play here, which I did. I was willing to add to the call play here, but then I also have a stop loss here saying that this is too far below value low for me to have any hope left for this stock. So I would have cut my losses there. So that's also an important tool I've been using is stop losses, whether it's automatically or it's just visually, such as this, a visual stop point.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I mean, if you see something that kind of raises your eyebrows and say, "Oh shit, we should get in," either put side, call side, just throw it in the room. We'll
Because I lost a lot of money. I mean, I lost big on this stock here, ATVI. I was a buyer on this day right here. I figured after a big sell-off like this, that they were going to have a rebound at the volume POC, but volume POC wasn't strong enough. My support lines from the previous days, because I was here buying the stock at this point. I think I had calls here because we were finding support at this high volume node. You can see it's almost as high as these two down here. These ones are bigger, but we had found some support right here. So when we found that support again, I took a call point. We gapped up overnight. And then again, we were finding value low supports up here. At the time, this was value low support, but the stock gapped down in the morning. I bought more calls here. And then again, its ultimate destination, as you can see, was value low on the overarching time frame. So I could have been patient and just bought down here at the 79.
Yeah, that's when I guess discipline along with technical comes into play. Yeah, I mean everyone does it, right? Emotion takes over everything else sometimes if you for FOMO. So I think it's good that you're adding this to through your charts and doing your homework. I think, you know, I got 6 more minutes. I'll open it up for others to have questions, or obviously this will be shared in the video later.
Okay.
I've seen before, but I never explored it to this level. But I never needed to. But this is very helpful. Do share the video once it's done, you know, and then we'll take, and I guess Michael take questions from rest of you guys in the room. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, you know.
And where should I be posting the scripts, I should say, for at least these charts?
Oh, we could post it in education, just, you know, education or TOS script, TOS on the tab, you'll see it. So once you go to the room, it should be somewhere right above the education, and you could just post it there.
Okay. Now I'll post these charts in the rooms with maybe some basics. I guess just the basic understanding of it. But if you do end up pulling it up and you have questions, go ahead and ask me. I'll be more than happy to respond to you guys in the chat room throughout the day. But
yeah, just put it in the general. Yeah, put it in the general so everybody else could see it too, because, you know, option channel is locked to, you know, us. Most of the, you know, subscribe guys, and the rest, if they understand what it is, at least you could add value to it.
So put it in education channel, and that would also be for general chat as well.
Yeah, wherever you feel comfortable, just put it in, because education, general, those are all open for the rest of the members. You know.
Okay. Well, I think that's about it on my end. I mean, I know I've got the stock screen that I'm still looking to learn how to use, that has different settings and whatnot. So there's so many resources, but this is a learning process. So I'm happy to share.
All right, man. Thank you very much for your time. Do share rest of the stuff, and I guess rest of the guys, if you have questions, you know, reach out to him or whoever, or myself, because I think this is, I'm gonna study overnight and see if I could grasp a lot of the stuff that we shared. So
Yeah, make it better. I'm sure you can always make it better.
yeah, I just got to start seeing more of it, you know, into my charts, because I don't have the script, so I'll add it up once you share, and then we'll go.
Very good. Okay, well then again, we'll see you in chat tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thank you everyone.
See you, Professor.
Yeah, thank you.